Well, Kapil, I just wanted to ask. I think the problem that I had when I was young is that I didn't know what I want to do, and now that I've got responsibilities, they're kind of preventing me from doing what I'd like to do. I have a son that requires 24/7 care, and the I don't get enough time in solitude, I feel, to do what I'd like to do. Just like to know what your thoughts are when you're kind of limited by responsibilities, and that they prevent you from doing what you need to do.
So I've reached a self-actualized state. I'm having the common experience with everyone that I speak to I'm just receiving everyone's projections. And so they see in me the parts of themselves that they're scared of, and they misperceive that as being me making them scared. And it happens with everyone that I interact with. And I'm wondering if this is something that you've seen before and if that's common.
No, um, I think you've fallen for the intellectualism paradigms, and spirituality paradigms, even with the word self-actualization. Not that you can't use that word, but these things have particular colloquial and mutually agreed upon meanings in the world. And so your very first statement, I've reached a self-actualized state, that doesn't really have any meaning. And then what others perceive in you, like the foundation of it is all based upon manufactured concepts. So there's nothing real there. It's all, newspaper clippings that you've picked up from the world, and then you're asking questions based upon newspaper clippings.
I don't think you've engaged with the point that I raised, or the question that I had.
If the question is based upon something false, then the question really isn't a question.
Hello?
Who's there?
Hi, Kapil. Are emotions part of the self?
Your voice broke up.
Sorry, I was asking if emotions are part of the self.
What isn't part of the self?
Kapil, I borderline find it literally impossible not to prescriptionize everything you say just because of the distinct feeling I get whenever I read or listen to any of your work. Even though I know it's problematic at its fundamental nature, obviously pretty much I prescriptionize anything anyway, but whenever I listen to you or read any of your work, to be honest, it's literally impossible. It's not impossible, it's almost so automatic because of the distinct feeling I get. I don't even really have a direct question here, but is there just anything you can comment on the situation?
Well, you're not alone. I just don't. In some ways, how could it be otherwise? I mean, if your whole life you've said hello, how are you, and the other person has said hello, how are you, then if that's happened, 18 million times, how can you expect to be something besides hello, how are you, if that's all that you know? That's why like the truth is, it's just a different it's a different universe, and like from the root to the top of the tree, everything is just like you have to learn a new language, you have to learn a new way of being. I mean, everything. So like people who think they can make a lateral move and they come to the truth, and they come to my work and they think, okay, well, now they're gonna come from where they have come, which is where everybody comes from naturally, not because it's their fault or anything, but it's just because that's all that exists is the prescriptive world. And like there's no like separation of prescriptive versus non-prescriptive world. Like that doesn't exist. There's only the prescriptive world. And they come here and then they think, well, Yeah, I understand what you said. They didn't understand anything. I mean, they just read the words, or they consumed it in the same way that they consume everything else. And like, how could they not? Like, there's no sign, like, how could they not? Like, how could this not just be something else for them, right? The next thing in line, the next. So if you've been taught to prescriptionize, and you've been encouraged to prescriptionize, and you've been conditioned to prescriptionize, and you've been trained to prescriptionize, like, the thought of something not being prescriptive, it's not even a concept. It doesn't even exist. Like, that's like saying, you breathe air, and you, like, are you going to breathe air today, or are you going to choose to breathe something else? I mean, there's nothing like that. Question wouldn't even arise. And of course, you're going to breathe air. So it's the same thing here. Like, it, it is not understood, and it'll never be understood because it's too much. Like, that's why I blame nobody for that. It's too much, right? Like, to come over here and say, okay, well now, and to be able to know that you have to, change your language, and change your thinking, and change your speech, and change your word choice, and change your shoes, and change your hair. I mean, like, no one would know that. No one would know that, because this is just another thing in their long procession of things that they've come across. And they might find the word a little different, they might find the writing different, but how they process it is going to be, like, no matter how opposite it is, and no matter how different it is, their processing mechanism is intact. That's the processing mechanism through which they've lived since the day they first took breath. And that mechanism is by way of prescription. And so much so that it shouldn't even be said, right? There's no such thing as this is prescriptive, because, like, what else would it be? Like, this is air. Like, there's no option. There's no alternative. So when there's zero alternative, like, it's a no-brainer. It's a given. It's a constant. There's no choice to bring up. So it would never even be brought up. So where the person always begins is, okay, well, what kind of prescription is this?
But
Right? That's where everyone's going to begin. That's the level
but,
at
but,
where everyone's
but
going to begin.
why do I have such a distinct feeling that I've never felt ever whenever I read or listen to your work? It does not seem the same as anything else. And it's a very distinct feeling that I cannot describe.
Well, I'm like, that's your own personal experience with it, and but what I'm saying is, that's what I was saying. Like, even though everything is going to seem different, everything seems different to you when you read my work, but the processing mechanism, what are you going to do with
Yeah.
that, right? You can only, it's fine, it's different, fine. I'm not saying it's good or whatever. Okay, now what are you going to do with it, right? And you can only do with it the mechanism that you brought with you, which is prescription.
Yeah.
So you have to, like, what else are you gonna, like I said, are you gonna ask yourself what element you're gonna breathe today, right? So that's why it's all about unconditioning, and that's why it's all about, or deconditioning. It's why it's all about unlearning, and um, uh, removing the shackles, and understanding and recognizing that one's entire life is completely and utterly and totally shackled. Nothing is there of their own. Every word you speak, like the self-actualized guy, right? Like, every word you speak, you shouldn't even speak, right? Like a word shouldn't come out of your mouth. Like, obviously you have to use the and those are created mechanisms. So yes, that you cannot, invent a language. I get that. So you have to use the, and, but, is, not, it. But aside from the language, everything that you say and the order of the words that you put in to make a sentence, they're not your own. You're just a parrot, right? Not because you want to be, or because you're wrong. Like, that's just what you know. That's conditioning. But the problem occurs is when one thinks that, no, I'm speaking these things and they're mine. Like, I this is my own. This is not society's.
Mm.
This didn't come from intellectualization. This didn't come from the 17 books that the influencer recommended. This didn't come from the bestseller list. This didn't come from the motivational speaker. This didn't come from the influencer. This didn't come from, like, that's where the disconnect is. I mean, like, it all came from there. Every bit of it. It all came from spirituality or intellectualism or scholarly, or like, it all came from that which exists in the world, obviously, right? Obviously. Well,
Yeah.
where else is going to come from? Mars, right? That's where you live. You don't live on Mars. You live on the world, on Earth. So whatever's on Earth, that's what's going to come. Obviously, clearly, logic. So like so that's why you prescriptionize. I mean, like you prescriptionize because what else would you do? Now, does it have to end there? Well, that's a very personal thing. Like, 'cause if one recognizes that, then a fork is created in the road before him. And in recognizing, like, with the exception of like 77 people in the world, no one would even is ever like I said, I have a very small footprint in the world, right? So I reach 26 people basically, right? So basically everyone is going to leave this earth, at the end of, we're all going to die. And never having even known about prescriptions, never having even known that they prescriptionize everything, and not even that, like even below that, not even having known that prescriptions, what they have done to him and what they have not given him. And not that, once again, not that it's bad and they should stop. I don't really care about, it's up to you, but no one's even going to get to like, level 0.00001, right? So if at least you've gotten a peek of a peek of a peek behind the curtain, right, to know that you are prescriptionizing things. And even before that, more fundamental to that there is even such a thing as prescriptionizing, that prescriptions, there may be an actual alternative. I mean, that itself is like an earthquake, right? Well, even though it's infinite zeros with a one on the end. But like a fork in the road then occurs. And then through that recognition, then how one maneuvers is very personal, and there's no formula for that.
But when I identify the shackles, it seems so deep, Kapil. It's like 10 trillion layers of it. I look at my upbringing and I'm like, sorry to use language, but I feel like I've raped my mind, literally. And I just look at, to some degree, the past with so much dread. I just feel like there's 58 trillion layers of shackles that I can see, and at every peak I turn a corner, there's another shackle. And it's just...
Yeah, so two things to say about that. Number one, that's why it's too much, right? And when I say it's too much, it doesn't mean it's too much, therefore you should stop. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's too much in terms of it's too much to ask of someone. Not that I'm asking. I'm not asking, but it's too much. Nothing I call it. It's just too much, right? It isn't like a little bit of a
so much.
It's like everything, right? And so that's one thing. And the other thing is, in making that statement, you realize that, like, how it simply cannot be prescriptions, because if it's 7 million layers, there's I mean, how many hammers and nails and wrenches and are there in existence to get through 7 million? There's not. You get through one layer, right? Maybe. So that's why you see the futility of everything that exists in the world. It's all because nothing can get through those 7 million layers. Nothing has a chance. It's all just like slingshots into a nuclear war, right? So at least you begin to get nothing else. At least you begin to get at least an inkling of just how anemic and irrelevant and comical and tabloid-ish and superficial and cosmetic and really laughable. I mean, you got a glimpse of the war that's there. You got a glimpse of the nuclear biological war that's there in the form of 7 million layers of conditioning and shackles. And what's out there? Oh, well, try some mindfulness, change your behavior, maybe meditate for 20 minutes a day, or try to, like, it's a joke. And it's so much of a joke that it's an insult. I've said many times, it's an insult to the gravity of what the shackles and the layers, the million layers of pain and conditioning and imprisonment are. It's an insult to those things. I mean, at the very least, acknowledge. I mean, that's like to tell someone to go off and meditate or do mindfulness or do whatever. Right? That's like the person's bleeding. That literally is like person's leg is chopped off and it's being held together by one patch of skin. Right, his bone is cut off, his ligaments are cut. He's gushing blood everywhere. He's going to die at any minute. He's got one piece of skin, which is keeping his leg attached. And then someone tells him, "Well, why are you being over dramatic? Like, why are you crying with so much pain? I mean, just shake it off." That's what this is. But everyone thinks, "Oh no, that's really weighty and like significant advice to tell someone to go practice mindfulness or the 3Ds or start a diary or gratitude." And not that if one did those things through his own accord and whatever, but like it's so dismissive. It is so insulting. Like that's an insult to someone have his leg chopped off when you tell him he's overreacting. I mean, that's an insult. It's not true, first of all, and it's an insult on top of it. I mean, there's a genuine problem there. He's not crying for no reason. I mean, obviously, this is serious. And the millions of layers that you're describing, that's like you're not like there's not some like you're being the scapegoat here. Every single human being is you. Every single one has the millions of layers. Like there's not like somebody who doesn't have. Everyone does. And so if that is the fact, and if that is the place that everyone is, and all they're looking for and all they're getting is some ointment and some moisturizing cream to put on their, broken off leg, that's the place where you are. Like not you, but that's where everyone is. That's the world.
Yeah.
The world cannot give you anything but moisturization
And bullshit.
or hand cream for you got every human cancer and hemorrhage and impending death and legs cut off, like these are, I mean, I mean it symbolically and figuratively, but the pain is no less. I mean, the suffering is no less. Every human being is deeply suffering, and in their own way. And then you look into the world naturally you look into the world, with good intention. Okay, I need some help with my suffering. Oh well, just go just put a patch on it, and then everyone, oh, that's a good advice. I mean, it's idiotic. If people realize the depth, number one, the depth, as you have just stated, if people realize the depths of the millions of layers of pain and conditioning and suffering that they've not only experienced to say, well, you've experienced it, but now it's gone. No, like everyone is living under a mountain of rubble, bottom line. Okay, like right now and tomorrow and the next day, every minute of every day. And then every now and then they get a moment of happiness where they come up for a pocket of air and they go right back down into the suffering. So that's where everyone lives. So if that's the case, which it is, it doesn't matter what part of the world you are, like that's human. Then if that's the case, which is fine, that's fine. But then where do you go from there? Oh well, here's some moisturizing cream, and stop over dramatizing it, and pick yourself up, and don't worry, and be happy, and go talk it out with someone, and go like I said, I'm not saying you shouldn't do those things. If you like if you need a pocket of air, you need a pocket of air. Everyone does. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do anything. I'm not whatever you want. I don't care. Meditate, mindfulness, therapists. Like one must do what they must do to survive. So I'm not saying you shouldn't do those things. What I'm saying is that the seriousness of where human beings live, the seriousness of the suffering, is matched by a joke in the world. It is not serious. It is not however serious that suffering is, which is 11 out of 10 for everybody. Then the even a partial match for that, as far as in the form of help or in the form of a potential cure or anything that's anything serious, is non-existent, and that is what has to be realized by one who wishes to realize it. That's the world in which you live, and until that realization dawns, then the person is going to keep getting ointment and thinking that the ointment is like this really deep penetrating solution to their wounds.
Thank you.
Hi, Kapil. I don't know exactly how to ask this question. So I'm trying to build an understanding of basic human nature. In other words, when I'm interacting with people and the world, it's quite clear, like you just said, it's a lot of suffering. Everybody's suffering through a lot of different things, and I find myself to be unhappy. In other words, all our interactions with either people or the world have generally led to some level of unhappiness. At the same time, I find that there's something very intrinsic that connects human beings together, and I've not been able to figure out what that is. In other words, we came from evolutionary age.
I mean, you're just going right down that slide of scientific nonsense. This evolutionary and something connects everybody. You have like that's what I mean. Like you just like there's no reality in what you're saying. There's no reality. If you want to talk about connection and all that stuff, you know what? Like get to the place where you have no more suffering, and then you feel connected to everybody, and then like nothing really bothers you. Then talk about that. Okay, but don't be talking about spirituality when your legs cut off. You need an emergency room. I mean, this is just more ways to try to socialize and engage with the world. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I'm not like I have to like put these disclaimers in there because I don't want to ever say that you should do this and don't engage with the world. I don't care what you do. I just don't care. Right. So, but like, don't start the evolution and the intellectual list. Like, don't like I don't want to hear that. Right. So you begin with I'm suffering and I'm unhappy. Okay, it's honest. Everyone is. Right. And then you put some ointment on there and you try to anesthetize it by going into, oh well, there's human connection. What has human connection gotten you? I mean, get to the it's like this fundamental dishonesty and covering up what you began with honesty with dirt from the world. You started by saying that the engaging with the world and with created problems for you and suffering. Truth. Okay. Not just
Mhm.
you. Truth. Okay. And then you diminished that. You just poured water all over that, right? Oh well, there's connection, and okay, well then connect, right? Go ahead,
No, so
connect.
thank you.
I'm not saying you shouldn't connect.
I guess what I was trying to say is I haven't quite figured that part out because, and you're right.
And you're never going to figure it out because you can't. You're never going to figure that out because you're doing it based upon, on the one hand, you're describing your reality of suffering, which is not your reality, it's everyone's
Mm,
reality, number one. Okay? I want to make that clear that I'm not picking on
mm,
anybody here. Okay? Number one, you're describing the reality of suffering. And then on the other hand, you're trying to like put a square peg into a round hole by saying, yeah, but I have to put this connection thing in there because that just sounds right. And that's spiritually correct. And that's just intellectually this. And your scientific stuff will destroy you as it already has. You're never going to get past that.
Understood. Thank
Hello. Hi, Kapil. Hello, Kapil. Hello, Kapil.
Hi, Kapil. I love your work. I mean, it's a honor to talk with you. I do have the DNA, and I don't want to lose the connection. I understood everything that you say. Everything. I mean, everything. I can understand everything you say. That is correct. And I every night I wait for you for your space. And I maybe I don't have any questions, but I understood the correct the exactly everything when you say that sincerity and seriousness is the key for truth. I understood that perfectly, and all of my life just me that a human only do have that kind of sincerity, and the serious action naturally arise from that sincerity. I understood that clearly. And when you all those years, what I have really suffered is that um, I I was seeking, or I was searching, or I don't know what the word is, but what I was doing is I was looking truth from a point of the perspective of the masses. Like when I it's like when I hear you are saying to someone like when I was learning all about the mind on the day I born. I feel like a guilt, and when I was a kid I always asked to my mother, why am I a burden to you? Am I a burden to you? I don't know why I'm asking to this to my mother and everyone. And I'm 24 years old now. So a few months later I just left home and I went to Himalayas because I wasn't able to earn money from I'm an artist and I do my works. It is very easy. I don't say I'm a great artist. I won't say, but I do have that kind of artistic skill inside me, and I couldn't take it out. I cannot able to take it out. Thus, I left home and I went to the Himalayas, and I roamed all around there, but I couldn't see a single pure person. I just want to live with one of them. Even a single day, but I couldn't find anyone. I almost searched on the Gangotri and those sites because I saw you on the discourse, but I couldn't find anyone. It's like a curse to me. Like I haven't lived with anyone. The only person that I can trust, or not trust, but I can listen to is you. I will say that because every night I'm from India, and every night I wait for your space, and I will say this time I just got an instinct just right now, and I woke up and I just checked the Twitter, and right now the time is 4:54 a.m. and I just found you. I don't know. Really, I don't know what I say or nothing. But if I haven't find you, I'd have no idea how I talk with another person, or how I say that all others are wrong, because you really made a clear picture. I don't know, I won't say that is structural, but it broke my all structure. And it is it is so pure, I will say that. And I until now, I will say, until now, I haven't find single person who has come far like this. Like maybe I'm not, because I understood that all I'm searching is that kind of purity. Whether I'm searching for a place or a person or anything, that I only wanted that 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 thing. um, Maybe I don't know, Kavila. But the the only thing is uh, my lack of sincerity and my lack of seriousness is only the thing that is causing me. I on the discourse about you talk about Miyamoto Musashi, and I'm seeking for permission. I think if I do get a single permission, that is enough for me. I mean, I don't know who will give, or I don't I think I'm seeking for that. I don't socialize. I don't see for those kind of. I don't watch those YouTube videos anymore or read those books anymore. And well, very well, you talk about the Jedi powers, like instant knowledge. I think I can have that. When I was doing a work, I'm completely immersed in that. But the world is like very like I saw this trait in my father also, like when he do a thing, very immersed in that doing. But most often time people will like use him, but that's okay, because when I say even I cannot lie. There is a thing, meaning like it's like uh, uh, it's I don't know how to say that. There is a consequence when a person is lying. For even for example, if you have money and then I will say a single. I don't know if you guys talk time or not. I will say that like this. When a person, this is a societal conditioning that happened to me. Like I was keeping my hands empty all the time. Or it's like when I have the truth, I must have to remove that from my hands. And when I remove that from hands, then society won't. So in my entire life, I was removing that truth from my hands. Because when I do have that truth in my hands, maybe it is for social acceptance. I always remove that. It's same like money. It's same like school. When I was in school, I score a lot until my 10. And I it's funny. It's funny, like um, when I was in the teachers will say you have to show, you have to talk, or you have to friendly with friends. And when the exams are near, you have to close your like papers and things. And the others will say like everything everywhere there is a conflict. And everywhere I can see that it's a simple example, but I don't know if it conveys the point or not, but that's what I'm saying. Uh, in my yeah. uh, I was waiting for you. I really I even I met you. I don't know if you gave me a response or not. And maybe I don't know if I'm pure. It doesn't matter. But I think I think I'm ready to leave anytime from here if I really get that if I really get that pure thing, I often think about Kapil, if I can live with one day, only one day, like my kind of people. I mean, you always say that where you're talking from, that's a place of pure sincerity and seriousness. And I wonder often to you how you cultivated that, or how you're running out that, because it is completely necessary, I think, in order to retreat from society, in order to become that kind of. Because when I when I uh, when I was in society, I was truly conditioned. You see, even I know you see, when I exposed to your work, the only thing that I feared, that if I don't have the DNA, then I understood I do have, because my 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 strive proved this to me. So uh, uh, I will add some. Those are conditioning. That's all I know. Like uh, maybe I'm talking because I don't know. Because I was searching. I think I was seeking permission from the mind, or from the people, or from the world, because they're all wrong. And if they see, if they have sincerity, they'll see that. But they're all not seeing, and when they're all not seeing, and also I'm seeking I'm seeking permission from them, and that's not gonna work. And maybe when I say I know, I don't know, because that's the truth. Because if I really know, then I will understand they're never gonna give me that permission, and then I don't know what are you gonna do. Kapil, the moment, the moment, or the immersion, or the art, or the purity, or the innocence, or the seriousness is all I want, and those are the things that I don't have. I've been exposed to this world until the day I born. It's like completely caused me. I don't want to. I want. Well, when I say a word like guru or a partner or a friend, I I see that word as pure. Uh, what what it is not what others are, how the others are seeing the word. It took me this much years in order to recognize that still I do have that kind of feeling that all others are wrong, but they never see that thing. Yeah, I don't even know what kind of question that I want to ask or anything. But I will say that I understood. Okay, I won't say completely, but I understood. I won't follow any no. I follow no prescriptions. It's like me. I in my schooling years, exactly what you said. Like I was a failure in schools. When I left school, I actually learned about everything you say. Even I understood. I think I understood why you left your academics. I can see that because the world is very narrow, very narrow. All my work, so every day I write about everything, every situation. But I don't know if that writing is still. I don't know. Is there a thing that capturing? But maybe I think I just everything is clear to me somehow. I don't know how, but when a person asks me a question, I can instantly talk to him. Like I don't have to think. Just easy. And these days, when I just returned to home in a week, and I felt like that kind of lightness. I was very fast, and there is some different things within me, because when I left my home, I got a place where I was almost alone, and I still interact with little few humans, and there was terribly hurricane. My language is different. I cannot talk with another humans or other people. Like, they I use a different language. I won't say it's dominant, or it's but both of us are using different languages, and that's why maybe I know that's I couldn't talk to anyone, and when I left to from home, I thought I could find a single person. When I was at those places, and I talked a lot of person. I even I kind of know. I won't like knowing. It's not knowing. It's just my intellectual knowing. So I just wanted to ensure that if there's no one, and I see that there's no one, and I went to the top, but I couldn't find anyone. No, not top, no, not that much, but almost 12,000 feet, and I will go up, even if really, really, I don't. Uh, um, I don't know if I'm ready or not, but The only thing I can I relate with, I live with it is truth. Is truth, because no other thing can satisfy me. If everything constantly disappoint me every day. uh, when I talk to a person, or it's like a rubber band. It's like a rubber band. They will back to that original state. But I don't find what is my original state. That is my thing. uh, I observed in my pathology, in my entire physiology, it was completely weak, and it was completely like, I think I sort of intellectually know all those kind of things, but I think understood it's all from involuntary thought, and it all from stress and anxiety, and all those kind of things. And if I completely removed, if I completely attain the state of no mind, then I'm then I'm then I'm free of all. I don't know. Maybe I haven't. I experienced that, but I cannot completely get immersed in that thing. It's like that. I wanted a permission. If I do get the permission, then I don't know what I'm gonna do. Because maybe I will know that there is a pure thing, and there is thing, because all of my years I haven't exposed to any pure thing, anything. You see, except your work. That's why I I don't read anything except your work. Or if I stop reading, then I will back to immerse. Maybe I won't say that it's dependent. Maybe I was dependent because I searched a lot, but I couldn't find anyone. But that's the only thing, pure thing. But that is not enough, because you're reading a book. But that is not enough. I really want to see a person. Oh, every day I get a tremendous ideas from everything, but all those ideas are came from the masses, or about their psychology, or not psychology, about their mind. Because it's like when I see a person, I get kind of feeling like what they are really suffering, like exactly like me, because when I can see myself within them, but they are not recognizing, but what somehow I'm recognizing. And mm, all those talks, so that won't go anywhere. So I know all those guys are waiting for their turn, but I'm still talking, because if I turned off the mic and I turned off the phone, then I'll return back to sleep. And when I woke up in the morning, there is no signal. That's why I'm keep speaking, but those keep speaking is not. Hey. I can see things are ready to burn inside me, and that fire is very big. And It's like when you write a discourse about meeting the master. I sort of feel right like that right now, because I don't wanna go from here. I don't want you to listen. Even I don't want you to listen to me. But when you say that there is no improvement and there is no progress, I understood that over the time a person develops sincerity and seriousness. Still, I won't say that I developed that kind of sincerity and seriousness. I'm not. The world isn't cure for. The world isn't searching for effective thing. It is always searching for ineffective thing. And I was with them. I'm still I am. But in that ineffective thing, I'm still living with them, or I'm still living in the mind, or in the society, or in the everything. There is no point in talking all those things you guys all know very well, because you guys, everyone have always read his art. So I don't want to go. I don't want to go from here, Kapil. I wonder why it is like. uh, I know a glimpse. I know they're wrong, but I will say that I will say sincerely, it's not my complete understanding. Even every night I hear your discourse or your private works as an audio, and yesterday night I sort of listened that one with more. Uh, I can't remember what was it. I remembered uh, in that conversation you was talking about it was an old podcast, and in that you say, mm, the mind is always wrong. The mind is always wrong. I'm not a not 100%, but I'm on the or you're working on that 100%, because maybe from this point I can say that I don't have that kind of complete understanding that the mind is false, or even if you don't speak a single word, I can understand you because and I never expect a single response from you. I don't know. I don't have any questions. The language is very irrelevant. I often there's no point.
Thank you for your words.
Hello, Kapil. Um, I don't know if you can hear me, so I'll just speak. Well, my name is Andrea, and I immigrate. I immigrate here to Canada, and hello, Kapil. Yes. Hello, Kapil. Hi, Kapil. My name is Andrea, and I immigrated here to Canada 10 years ago. Hello, Kapil.
Hi Kapil, can you hear me? Hello.
Hi, Kapil. My question is this. There are some guys that you let speak, but some of them you cut them directly. I'm interested to know what was the reason that you let that Indian guys for so long? Like, can you explain? Do you like?
And I've seen some things that have shown me in some way that what I care about determines what I get. The statement maybe seems really obvious, but in the way that I've seen it, it is true in a way that I can't really express in words. It was way more direct and powerful and instantaneous and effectful than I could express or I could have imagined before. It was like there was me, and then there was whatever was reacting to me, and that thing instantaneously made whatever I wanted to be real, real. I don't know if this words are accurate. It fulfilled my wishes instantaneously. But I couldn't stop wanting the thing that didn't give me what I wanted. I just kept wanting the same thing and kept wanting it and kept wanting it, like over and over and over again. It was like, I don't know, this metaphor makes sense for me. It was like, imagine I'm pushing a button and it gives me like instant satisfaction, and it was just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing over and over again. I was like stuck in a loop, like an addiction. I have experience with like normal addiction, but this was like 10,000 times stronger. Yeah, I can't really access that space right now. I just remember remembering. That's all I remember. And my question is basically, what is that? Why is that? What am I addicted to? And is the cure to that addiction the same that any other addiction is cured? Because I have some hope, belief, or whatever that I have cured other addictions, and I guess I kind of know how that works. So yeah, is addiction? I guess I've seen that addiction. What am I addicted to? Why is that? Yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
So to provide an answer for that would turn what you recognized on an experiential and deep level and take you into an intellectual discussion as to why it happened. And your realization of what is happening is far more critical and has far more weight than you knowing the intellectual reason as to why it happened.
Hi, Kapil. Thank you for taking my question. I'm capable of
great golf shots. I've done them throughout my life. I know I can have the ability to do them, but I don't always do that. I don't always have a performance that I expect to have or want to have. And the naive solution to this is my swing. I've lost it, which I understand is not correct, and that I can always have that performance at will. But the deeper I think about this is that I'm comfortable with this poor performance. And I'm even more so, I'm comfortable, I guess, identifying and self-loathing from a bad round of golf. And then thinking afterwards, well, I'm okay there, but it's a bit of a cycle of self-loathing and not getting to that performance. And I know that it's the mind, or intellectually I know it's the mind, and trying to get into a place where that performance is there. I find that I can clear the mind to the best ability, but even trying to clear the mind doesn't quite do that. So it's just an interesting cycle that I found, that I'm okay or comfortable with making a bogey, with having this poor performance, and then beating myself up against it afterwards, which tells me that there's not a level of seriousness there for golf, or for the events that I play, to be in that performance that I expect myself to be. And I feel like I'm not asking the right questions, and I find myself feeling that I just need to practice and train more. But knowing that I can hit these shots, it's I realize that it's something with the way that I'm coming into the course and into the rounds. I'm not fully there.
Hello, Kapil. I don't know if you can listen to me. Okay, I'm gonna start again because this is my first time in this space, this dynamic. My name is Andrea, and I immigrated here to Canada 10 years ago. I'm from Venezuela, and the situation was pretty bad there, so I have to leave, and I came here. And as you know, when you immigrate, you have expectations, not myself, but people around me, that you have to come to be better and more happy, and appreciate what you have here. And I I couldn't make it, because I was already suffering back home when I was in Venezuela, and has nothing to do with the political situation. It was a internal state. And I came here, listen all kind of prescriptions, and I'm in the same situation where I'm suffering. I feel to my parents, everyone. And I read many books trying to find answers, and I finally arrived to your work. And since then, I finally know what I was looking for. And yeah, when I was a teenager, I wanted to admit that I was mediocre. That's my biggest pain. I wanted to understand why I was so mediocre, because my dad, he really gave me everything, and I failed him. But that was back home, so I used the excuse that Venezuela was bad to ask to leave the country, come here to Canada, and to find out that here I am still super mediocre, and I had to lie a lot because of that, and I haven't seen my parents because of that, because of the shame. And I read you. I bought one of your audios about guilt, and I understand that is not my fault because I didn't know. Actually, I wanted to know when I was a teenager, the first time that I admitted that I was mediocre and there was something wrong inside me, which now I understand is the mind. My mind was really fucked up. I saw it by myself. Not from a book, I saw it, that I was fragmented and I was not here. I was not seeing reality, and um, I was not experiencing anything, but I was faking all the time. Faking. Nothing that I said outside it's true. Truly bad. Very bad. And I found myself super alone, failing, ashamed, and I haven't seen my dad, and every time I see him a picture he's getting old. And that breaks my heart because he gave me everything. But I think he gave everything to the wrong person. Anyway, your job means a lot to me because I just wanted to admit it. That I want to admit my nature, that it was failing, fragmented, and anxious, and telling my dad that please don't do too much for me because I'm not deserve it. That I wanted to do it in my own way, and I think with your work I found that it's true that knowing yourself is the most important thing. Knowing yourself is the most important thing. This nature, it's not good. It's a lot of suffering, like you said. I came here to Canada to see that suffering. Cause yeah, back home when I was around with my family, I couldn't ask those questions. I knew when people were talking that there were layers of lies. Now I can say they're lies, but at the time, it was not even my decision. It was popping up in my head like, well, people are not talking in a real way, you know. So, but at that time I couldn't understand, and then through life experience, like interviews, when people are like to find a job, they were asking me questions, and I found myself that I was lying as well, and it hurts me. It hurts me a lot because I feel like I was failing to my dad as well, and am I true? Am myself, because I know deeply that I was meant to do strong in something, but I couldn't find it out, and it's really late because I'm too much. I'm too fucked up the head. Too much. Too much. I'm in a really bad place right now, but I never used drugs, or I never went to the extreme because I know that was not the way. And like I said, it's only when I found your job and another person that he means a lot to me. He has some, in his own way, like common points with you, and oh my god, I found everything. I found a place where I can be real and admit that I was mediocre. a lot. Very mediocre. Oh my god, so much. And it's true that I waste too much time. Shamefully. Shamefully. Really, really a waste of time. And but for some reason, when I read your work, it didn't cause me pain. It was more like a relief to know that what I was feeling it was true, because I was going crazy thinking that I was making this up, like I was complaining for nothing. And I don't know, for some reason I'm fucked up. My life sucks, but some sanity. I have some sanity compared with before, that I have everything. I have money. I was pretty, and now I'm super fat because food it's the one that makes me like keeping up. But honestly, I'm mad. No, like I hate my job. No friends. Not family. I didn't want to bring a kid to this world like that. I wanted to admit first because I knew deeply what I was going to do if I have a kid. I know what my ego will do, to destroy his nature. I knew it. I was like, shit, if I have a kid, I know what kind of mother I will be. And I don't want to be a perfect mother, but I wanted to know what I was capable of. And it's truly horrible. It's truly horrible. It's hard to face it. And I know that I will do more harm than good to this new person, so I never dare to have a family. And it happened the same with a husband. I don't know what is perfect, but I felt like if someone is with me, that's gonna happen. I do more harm. Because I know my distortions and my pathologies, and God, I never find any true answer in any institution, in Catholics, in church, or Christianity, or nothing worked. I knew it, and as soon as I saw it, oh my God, I read your work. You said prescription doesn't work. I felt like I was in home because I know nothing works, but I feel tremendously alone because of that. Super alone. Nothing, even if you said everything's gonna be fine, which I know you would say that, but I would not believe you. It's really bad. For some people, that's like you said, maybe it's like a permission to be free, or to be what they wanted to be. But in my case, no, because I feel like it's too late. And it's too late. But yeah, I just wanted to say that. I don't know if you're listening, because this is the first time that I do this, and I feel like I'm talking to the air. But well, I hope this word goes to you, and to say that I know probably you're not the only one who write these things or whatever, but honestly, between you and another person that I really admire as well, because they say the truth, and that's what important. They don't care about the world. It's too much noise. It's true. There's a lot of noise out there. The truth is what it matters. And I wouldn't like to meet you, because I cannot shake your hand, because you are in front of someone super mediocre. Shamefully, very shamefully, as a human being, I fail tremendously. And I feel very ashamed. I'm trying to now understand. I actually tried to save money to read one of your articles about why a child goes to the parents' world, something like that. I wanted to understand because that was my problem. I couldn't have my own mind until too late, and I didn't. It's not like I want to have a child and avoid that, but to if he asks me, I want to tell the truth. You know, I want to tell Luca, son, or whoever. You will try to this for me, and sometimes I'll admit that it feels good that you do this for me, for my ego, but that will destroy you. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Um, and yes, I thank you so much for exposing that, and um, and I know, and especially thank you for not asking attention back. Like I feel like you read your work, and I don't need you don't I don't owe you anything. That I can just see myself, and that you understand human nature because I know everything that I feel. It's what everyone feels, but they don't admit it. I know this is human nature, so that part I don't feel guilty anymore, or a lot of shame for sure, and it's because of you, because of your work. It's what's really important to me, really important. It's gold, and but sometimes I feel like I don't deserve it because I'm not doing anything with that. I'm still wasting my time. And I know you said that. So why you do you? I didn't say that you don't need to waste your time. I know that, but I suffer. It's not you or another person who's telling me doing something. It's just when I'm in my bed. I suffer so much, and of course, the only reason why I don't jump from a bridge is first of all because I'm coward, and secondly because I know the suffering that will cause to my parents, especially my dad and my god is such a waste of resource that my dad did to me for me. He sacrificed so much, and to see that he did it, and I have mental illness, and that caused me so much pain. So I had to fake to be happy, but I'm done. I cannot do anymore because this is the point that I'm like the lies, the fakes. It's over. My life is really bad, and yeah, I feel like I can lose everything in 1 second. My two-bed apartment, my cat. I love him so much. I love my cat. I know you said. Well, anyway, I love my cat, and I lose everything: my clothes, my pride, my identity, which I don't even know what it is because I don't have background. I don't have biography. Really, really bad. I don't have. I don't have nothing. Nothing. And for me, that's it feels bad. But I wanted to admit it. Um. Oh my God, this is very important to me to admit it. Um. I'm sorry it took too much time. And I really don't have a question. I guess that I just want to tell you that It's not that you just transformed me, it's something that it was there. Every time that I was reading, I felt like I knew every word. And even then, the one that I don't know, I discard them because I didn't experience that. I don't read anything about ultimate performance because I'm mediocre, so I will be fake if I start like, posting on social media about, be perfect because I'm not. I'm not. I was more interested about relationships. People are like, oh, family is the most important, and actually, it's where all conflict starts. Oh my God, it's such a relief to see every detail of the truth of family. Um, your work about attachment, it was so important to me because it's like reading everything that I have inside. I'm not good at writing, so it was there. That truth was already there. It really took me by surprise. And yeah, I know any relation can really happen. It's a relief. I'm gonna admit that when I have even a superficial relationship or encounter with someone, I feel relief for a while, and then I want to be alone again, and I want to tell the truth. I will tell them, don't like me, please, because what you're seeing is just my body, and what you wanted to see because they see me as a perfect person. I'm like, what the fuck? You didn't even ask me any question about me, and you're assuming those stuff. Me, I don't assume. I know I can like someone, but I know that eventually I will see the conflicts and everything. So I feel alone because I feel like world starts reverse. They start with makeup and good dates and fancy restaurant and perfect first dates, and then conflict with your child, and you have to hide those problems because now everyone thinks you're perfect, your family thinks you're perfect, you did the perfect wedding, you did the perfect wedding, and you spend a lot of money doing those parties. So now you cannot admit that maybe you don't love your wife anymore. I saw everything there. My family member, they have to lie as well. So that's why I don't feel guilty to be fucked up because that was like a natural result. And my parents, again, they were natural result of what they believed and everything. Um, so anyway, thank you so much, Kapil. I'm suffering. I wish to have money to buy all this stuff because I feel like I want to admit more stuff, but that I don't even know. And what a mediocre world. And well, after this, I will still self-destruct myself because that's what I do. I self-destruct all the time with food, and probably I will get an ice cream and do nothing again because I'm such a coward person. But I was not afraid of truth. I was not afraid to see how alone we are, and to see that there's nothing outside that will bring you happiness. I'm not looking for happiness, but um, I don't know what's the alternative. I don't feel it. I don't even know what it is. Um, Even someone tell me I will be, it's not gonna be pure because it doesn't come from myself. I don't, I haven't experienced it, any alternative. But well, thank you so much, and I'm so sorry for, I don't know. I feel like I owe apologies to be the same world where you're truly looking for the truth, and meanwhile I'm here doing bullshit and wasting time instead of giving you true information about something amazing from here. But I cannot. My head is so fucked up. It was interesting to know that what the mind is capable of, and I saw it. I cannot describe it with words, but I saw it. One day I was in a retreatment, and it's amazing. The retreatment, people think that it's about looking for peace, when it's actually true to face anxiety. And I don't think people took it seriously there. Because if they took seriously, they will be crying at the end of the session, saying, "How can I live like this?" And that's where I saw. I'm like, this is what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, I don't know. And this is the last thing that I want to say. Maybe thinking, I don't know, imagining that you're my dad, and telling him I'm so sorry. I love him so much, and I admire him, and he shouldn't give me everything. I wanted to do it to my own, because I didn't want him to waste his time with me. So I'm really sorry, and I love him. So I don't have anything to say anymore. Well, I have so much to say actually. Not right now. Right now, I just wanna. I don't wanna do anything. Thank you for your work.
Thank you for your words.
That's like like just go on, right? Like, so I live in this constant state of internal conflict. I just can't distinguish my real thoughts, feelings, wants, and desires from the ones that I perhaps think I should have. I have moments of clarity, but then again, I somehow get stuck into this rabbit hole, which I'm just ready to abandon, where I'm just ready to abandon everything I truly want just to garner superficial materialistic achievement, which, obviously comes from a place of like deep-rooted insecurity of not good enough. But since I'm aware of this fact that I truly don't want all these like quote material collapse, I can't even go all in on my egoic pursuit of achievement and power grab. I want just want an internal congruency per se. Like, I and to be actually completely honest, I just want to go all in on the part of me that just doesn't care about all this bullshit and gets completely consumed instead of doing this bullshit pointless quote self-reflection which goes absolutely nowhere. I want to be in that obsessive driven straight 100% of the time, and not keep second guessing myself or being afraid that I might not have the satisfaction, or I'm just doing this to fill a hole within oneself and all that. Like, and I just can't do that. Like, why can't I do that? That's my question. Like, why can't I just like let go of all this like pointless just like endless like intellectualization and like overthinking, or probably it was because I read a lot of like pop psychology and all that, things. But like, I just want to like let go of all that and go all in. Like, why can't I do that?
Can't tell you why you can't do it.
From time to time, I do suffer. To be honest, most of my time, most of my life, I am very happy. But sometimes I do suffer. Sometimes I do cry. But on some level, I feel disgust by suffering. On some level, suffering is not okay for me. And when the eternal pain arises, I almost grab it by the throat, and I don't want to distract myself. I don't want any pleasure. I don't run away from it, not by prescription, but naturally. I want to see every single one of my pains and my sufferings, and don't want to brag about it, but I feel I am making a huge progress towards a peace and suffering less, so to say. Um, the reason what I want to ask you is to open up more about your statement that life is suffering, because the reason why I listen to your work is to overcome that suffering. Um, your work is the, sorry for putting in hierarchical, but your work is the number one for like the best stuff I ever heard in my life is your work. And I'm listening to you because I do want to reach this non-suffering state. Suffering is not okay for me. Blow this planet with all the peoples inside it. I don't want to suffer about it. This is not okay for me to suffer about it. But I feel confused when you say that life is suffering and you are offended by smiles, because I do like my smiles, and I I do want to live a peaceful and happy life, and I don't really understand why you are saying that life is suffering. Like, isn't that supposed to be the way? Uh, it's not like I feel like I don't even have a choice but to overcome my sufferings. And but this your statement that life is suffering and always will be makes me confused, because there is a point when I want to reach the state of no suffering.
Well, it's your words are confusing, because if you find that life is not suffering, and I say that life is suffering, then it would make no sense for you to listen to me, because your own experience is more important than anything else. What you have found for yourself is more important than any other human being that has ever lived. That is your own experience. But then you having said that, then you say, but you do suffer, and that you're trying to get over that suffering. So you're saying both things. The bottom line is, it doesn't matter what I say. It matters whether whatever I say is congruent with your own experience, whether it matches up with your own experience. Not that it should and not that it shouldn't. But I think if you try to focus on what I say and try to make it fit, I think you kind of sacrifice yourself, which moving away from your own experiences as being your guide um, really is that kind of gets you lost.
Hi, Kapil. Thank you for doing this. I was gonna ask, like, my life is very, like, dysregulated, I can say. I don't do anything meaningful, basically. And I was wondering, like, I cannot find the answer for myself. I don't think you would give a direct answer, like, some wisdom at least. Do antidepressants, like, work a little bit? Because, or, like, do ADHD, stuff like that, do they really exist? Or do I just don't want to do anything? And that's why I am not doing anything. Like, I don't know whether if I should explore it or not.
I cannot answer that question for you. That's your own personal decision.
I since I was a child, I've always kind of been like I've got no real like emotional range. I feel like, and I've always kind of like went to the beat of my own drum, and spent a lot of time like alone as a child, and got lost in kind of my own world. And I always viewed myself as um like a clear tank of water, and anytime I'm around other people, it's like ink is being squirted into me, and the more time I spend around people, I feel like it permanently like discolors me internally, if that makes sense. I've never really thought that much about it until I had children, and now that I've got children, I'm kind of worried as to whether that's something that's, I don't want to rub off on them and make them like me, because I know it's quite unusual, and I'm not sure whether it's a good or a bad thing, or like, I don't really know what I'm asking here. I should have thought my question through, but I don't know. Like, how do you be sure of yourself when the world is around you is different? It's how you've naturally developed, and the way of thinking that you have.
Hello, Kapil. Thank you for being authentic and uncompromising. Your words truly have some kind of a transmission that has transformed my life profoundly. My question is about enlightenment, and for several decades, I've been drawn to this enlightenment, but now I'm really maybe talking out of frustration, and I really respect your thoughts on this, and maybe I want to know, is enlightenment real, and or is it a wild goose chase? If there is something called as ultimate freedom, I shouldn't have to seek or search it, right? That seems to be a very intense bondage itself for me. I hope you can shed some light on this.
So does ultimate freedom exist? Yes. But you have to understand the words that you use. You said that if I have to search for it, then it's a bondage. But do you already have it?
I do not.
Okay. So if you don't have it, then that means that if you want it, that you have to get it, right? If you want it, not that you should, but if you want it, whatever you want, even if it's a glass of water, you have to get it, right?
Right.
Okay. So when you say that searching for it is a bondage, what you are really saying is that the only way that you know how to search for it is through prescriptions. The only way that you know how to search for it is through the vehicles and the conditioning and the modalities and the methods and the techniques and the perspectives and the concepts that the world has taught you. Through the things that have been set up by the world with spirituality and austerity and ceremony and whatever, read this and do that and practice this and practice that and do, so that's what you're really saying.
You are right. In the past, at least for 10 to 14 years, I was pursuing it through prescriptions, and that didn't get me anywhere. But since getting exposed to your work, my intensity has grown exponentially, and I have seen the futility of this. But my friend that I near, or I don't see any markers of progress, makes me suffer even further, and that's the reason why I termed it as it is it is creating more bondage for me. And I feel like, dropping this entire thing would be more freeing than being so intense. And I don't know if that is a choice that I have to do that volitionally.
So the disconnect, the thing that one has to understand is that just because you have been exposed, and by the way, that isn't a small thing. That is not a small thing to be exposed to the fact that prescriptions, that for you they haven't gotten you anywhere. Okay. Trying to be very careful in my word choice so that I don't say that people should not follow prescriptions, because I have no interest in telling people what they should and should not follow. I have no interest in that. So I'm very careful. That's why I said very, very specifically, I said that for you, the following the prescriptions by your own admission has not gotten you anywhere. But the So while on the one hand, it is a valuable thing to recognize even the basic level, and that basic level is huge. Like I said, that's 0.0001, but that's 0.00001 that basically no one on Earth will ever get to, like except for 15 people. Okay, because like I said before, the idea of prescriptions isn't even known. So, aside from like medical prescriptions, like Advil or something like that. Um, but I think that the thing to realize that you believe that while it's a valuable thing that you have been turned on to the fact that prescriptions have not worked for you, at the same time, you believe that just by having recognized that's reached into your soul, and that has flushed all of the prescriptionizing out of your system, that would be very unlikely, to put it conservatively. And therefore, as long as one is still seeking through prescription because of his conditioning, even though he has gotten a glimpse into the strings behind the stage of prescription, that is bondage. And that's why the bondage still exists.